What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the One-on-One series. It's been a long time since we've done the One-on-One series. If you want to see any of our other previous One-on-One series interviews, go ahead to the Fans Anonymous YouTube channel and click that playlist, the One-on-One series, of course, and check out some of the amazing interviews from people all over the country talking about what it is that they do. So today I have Mr. Alexander Hampton from Brand New Productions. What's going on, Alexander?
Nothing much, man. I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. How about you?
I can't complain either, man. We're talking to him about something very special that's near and dear to my heart. He has a fan film coming out that he's produced and written and directed and done all of the work. He is what you would call a filmmaker. And he is doing a film. Tell us the name of the film.
So the film I'm doing is called Static Shock Uprising. It's actually the sequel to my very first film that I've done called Static Shock the Movie, which is currently on my channel now. Awesome. So what is the name of your channel? Let's go ahead and get that out there so people can know where to go ahead and check that out. So the name of my channel is Brand New Productions, where I do movie reviews, movie commentary, movie news, and also do my own short films. So like right now, I have two short films on there. One is Static Shock the Movie, which came out in 2016. And then I re-released another short film called Miles Morales, the New Kid, which is a Miles Morales story that I released in 2018. I originally released it in 2017 and titled it completely different. Then I took it down, re-edited it, and put it back on there.
Cool.
So that's my second short film. And then the rest of my videos are either promos or trailers for the short films that I've done, or just movie reviews of movies that I've seen, or movie topics that I talk about that I see in the news.
Okay. Speaking of movies, what's your top movie for 2018 so far?
Ooh, that's so far, okay. Does it have to be a specific genre, or it could be
movie?
Right now, the movie I would have to say would have to be Infinity War. Like, when I saw Infinity War, like, I didn't expect. Not to spoil anything, but I didn't expect what would happen. And Infinity War is the first, well, it's not the first comic book movie that made me cry. Actually, Black Panther made me cry, but there are certain things that happen in Infinity War where I'm crying throughout the theater. I'm like, what is going on? So if I had to, it's really between Infinity War, Black Panther, and A Star is Born. Those three movies are really got to me.
Okay. Mine is going to be surprising to some people, although I loved Infinity War. Of course, I definitely love Black Panther. I saw it in the movies, like, in the theater, like 4 times. And I've watched it on Netflix probably twice already. But right now, my favorite movie for 2018 is Venom.
Whoa,
and a lot
really?
of people, yeah. And that's not to downplay Infinity War. That's not to downplay Black Panther. We knew those movies were going to be pantheons. But Venom was a very sneaky, underhanded movie that you did not expect what you got from it. Now, of course, I understand why filmmakers are saying they hate it, because from a filmmaking perspective, it jumps all over the place. There are some lines that shouldn't be there. You could tell there's some missing footage. But it was a sneaky movie that when you sat down and watched it, you was like, oh, it's kind of good. Wait a minute.
Right.
But you, of course, like I said, Black Panther, you expected Black Panther to be that pantheon movie that it was. You expected Infinity War to be that pantheon movie that it was, but you didn't expect Venom to come in and do what it did. What do you think about that?
So like, it's funny because I kind of said this in the review I posted, but Venom, I said that Venom was an okay movie for me. Overall, I really did enjoy the relationship between Eddie and Venom, because in the comic books and even like the animated shows, it's kind of somewhat similar. So I could relate. I could relate to how Eddie was feeling about having something take over him, and being a reporter who's essentially not taking no for an answer, having something like that control your body. I could see why he's reacting the way he's reacting in the different relationships. I will say a lot of the action beats in the movie were really good. I did like how Venom fought. My issues with the movie per se is that I'm not necessarily, because I am I love comic books and I love comic book movies. They don't have to be accurate to the comic book, but at the same time, I believe that if you're going to do a comic book movie to a degree, you have to give it some form of justice. And when you see Venom biting heads off, like you see him biting him, but you don't really see the head coming off. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not saying it should have been. I'm not saying it should have been a rated R movie per se, but I do think they could have pushed the envelope with that PG-13 rating. And also, I think that final. Well, this is not really a spoiler, but the scene where he's fighting Riot, it was like literally all over the place. Like it's like a slimy mess. You don't know what's going on, who's throwing a punch. None of that, you know.
And see but that's what you get when you got two symbiotes coming together like that. And I'll take your point where you stated about they should have went a little bit further, but I think the reason that they came back down to that PG-13 rating is that they wanted to make more money. They wanted to get a better pull off of it. And if you just stick it to rated R, then you're eliminating I look at a lot of stuff from a business perspective. If you limit it to rated R, then you're getting rid of that 17 to 17-year-old money pot.
Right.
Where Joseph and three of his friends, or Becky and Sue and two of her friends, they're all going to movie to see the new Venom movie.
Right.
You eliminate yourself from getting that cash grab. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money. At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But let's talk about the Static Shock Uprising. Well, let's go back to how did you get into filmmaking?
So it's actually very odd. So like I've been doing when I was, I want to say about 13, 14, maybe 15. I never was really like a social person in high school, middle school, that kind of thing. And like I would pick up like my dad's computer, and we never had internet in the house. Like that was just a no-no at the time. And I would pick up my dad's computer and I would just play around with certain programs. So I found Windows Movie Maker, which we did use in school from time to time, but nothing too serious.
I still use Windows Movie Maker to this day.
Exactly, like 'cause it's still a valid program, right?
It definitely is.
It's a program that will stand the test of time, in my opinion, about just standard video making. So when I grabbed the computer, I started playing it, and I was like, one of my favorite things as a kid was playing with Mega Man games, like Mega Man X, Mega Man Battle Network, things like that. And I would take pictures of Zero and Mega Man and do like a slideshow. And I was like, yo, this is pretty dope. So let me keep playing with this program. So I would take different pictures that I had saved on the computer and make slideshows. And then I remember in high school, in my 10th grade year, we had this video project. And this was the time where I was like, okay, I'm not really that tech savvy, but let me just give it a shot. So what I did was, like, I didn't study, didn't do anything, and I just played with the program. So I learned how to record audio. I learned how to, now mind you, this is all Windows Movie Maker, nothing else. I learned how to incorporate video and transitions and just doing that kind of stuff. And my thing is that as a young, especially a young black man, there wasn't a lot of things that I had at my house that I could like play with. I had very limited things. So when this project became about at my school, I just kind of fell in love with it. And then I remember in my 11th grade year, we met a movie director. Well, he wasn't like a famous movie director. He was actually a play director, not a movie director. And he had been on set on some movie sets. And right then and there, that's when I was like, okay, I want to do this for real. Like, I want to do movies. I want to do stuff. So as I gotten older, like throughout high school and even a little bit college, I went on my YouTube channel way before it was called Brand New Productions. It was called something else. I can't remember. I would do tribute videos. So, like, I remember I did this tribute video to Static Shock. Like, it was one of my first videos where I would download the episodes of Static and just cut them up, put them together, and put a song over it. And it was like a 3 or 4 minute tribute to the character. But in the beginning of the video, I say, before I start playing the different scenes, I say, my name is Alex. One of my favorite superheroes is Static because as a black man, or as a black individual at the time, black young man at the time, I didn't have anybody to look up to. Like, I love watching Batman, Superman, Shazam, Spider-Man, all those guys, but Static was the first black superhero I was introduced to. And granted, I never knew about Black Panther, Cyborg, any of those guys, because I would come home and watch Kids WB, and Static would pop up. I was like, oh, what is this? Because Static, in many ways, in my opinion, reminds me of Marvel Spider-Man. Like, that's who he is to me in the DC universe or Milestone universe. So, but anyway, so I would make these different videos with Windows Movie Maker, like tributes to stuff. I would do slideshows for my church, and then one of my YouTube friends at the time had hit me up. I was like, hey, I noticed that people are making like fan-made trailers, and I was like, what's a fan-made trailer? Like, he was just basically explaining to me, it's a trailer of a movie that's coming out that hasn't released a trailer yet. So, like, I remember, and at that time, Fast and the Furious 5 came out, and I was a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. So what I did was my first fan-made trailer was Fast and the Furious 6. So what I did was I took all of the different Fast and Furious movies, and mind you, I didn't have any internet, but the computer my dad had was like some Alienware computer, but I had all of the Fast and Furious DVDs. So I took all the video from the DVDs, I cut them up, put them together, and made this 2-minute trailer. And I remember within the first 8 months, it got like over 600,000 views. And then I got an email from YouTube saying that I have stolen copyrighted content. You either can take it down or we'll delete your channel. So I deleted it, and then I had a copyright strike, and it took about a few months to get the strike removed. But I had to talk to, I forget who I talked to on YouTube, or the person who was running YouTube at the time, how to go about making fan-made trailers without getting copyright strike. And basically what he told me was, in a nutshell, just like in the beginning of the video, say you don't own this content. And that's what I didn't do when I did my Fast and Furious trailer. So I was like, okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll put in the beginning, I don't own this content, and I'll go from there. So I would do other fan-made trailers like a Justice League trailer, a Avengers trailer, a Transformers 6 trailer, those types of trailers of movies that haven't come out yet, but they were supposed to come out. And I would get a lot of reviews. Sometimes I would still get copyright notices, but nothing too serious. So I come to realize, like, doing all that, which was fun, my YouTube channel didn't really have a foundation because I was putting up stuff that was very random. Like, I didn't have, I mean, I had views on things, but it wasn't like, it's funny, I could put out a fan-made trailer of a film that could possibly come out, right, and it make 100,000 views. But then I can put out a movie review and it'll get 10 views. And I kept asking myself, why is that? So I was like, okay, let me just restructure this. So what I did was, in 2015, going into 2016, I basically deleted half of the content that I had on my YouTube channel to restructure it in a way to drive a strict narrative of what I wanted my channel to be. And then one day I saw this fan film called Static Shock Phenomenon. The director is Yves Fuller. I actually have talked to him before about making a fan film back in the early 2013-14 year, right when I had just graduated high school, and we had moved into this place and got all the things that I needed to make quality video. But anyway, I had talked to him about making a fan film, and I asked him what goes into it, what products that I use. Keep in mind, I still had a HP Alienware laptop only with Windows Movie Maker. So I didn't understand any other programs other than Windows Movie Maker. And he told me the different programs he used. He showed me basically a roadmap of how to tell a story in a sense. So I was like, okay. So I watched his film, Static Shock Phenomenon. It's I want to say it's about 15 or 20 minutes long. It's a really dope origin story. You can tell it's very shot. This was his first film because this was his very first film, and no shade to Yves because that's my guy. You can tell it was very shot amateur-like, but I could understand it because of the fact it was his first film, his first thing he's ever put together. So instantly when he put it out, I was inspired by it, and then I saw another Static Shock fan film called Static Shock Blackout by this one guy named Stefan, and I was like, yo, his fan film is really dope too. And it's a little bit more professional, but I see the angle he's trying to go. So I'm like, okay, these are dudes that I'm not saying we all started YouTube together, but these are dudes that I know I've connected with in some way, shape, or form. And if they can step out on faith and make these films, why not? So in 2015, after I got married, I want to say about 5 or 6 months after I got married, I posted this fan-made poster of some guy cosplay as Static with his fist up, and I posted on my Facebook. I said, "Hey guys, if I were to make a Static Shock movie, would y'all watch it?" Now, mind you, I'm just talking. I didn't really put any serious thought into it. I'm just talking. So I put it out, and I want to say within the first hour, I had 20 people. 20 of my close friends was like, "Yo, you should do this. You have potential. You always keep talking about pushing yourself. Now's your chance to push yourself." I was like, but, I only have this one laptop. I only have Windows Movie Maker. I'm not really savvy in other programs. But I kept getting so much encouragement from that one post and people hitting me up personally like, yo, you should do this. You should do this. So I was like, okay. So what I did was I was going to University of West Florida at the time as a college student there, and they have this place called the Skylab where they have Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, that sort of thing. So I literally went in there every so often and studied the programs of Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, and even Photoshop to a degree. I studied those programs for about maybe 2 months before I got a clear-cut understanding of how to use them to a degree. So then I started writing Static Shock the movie. Now, Static Shock the movie, what you see on my channel is not necessarily what I had on paper. I want to say about 90% of what you see on my channel is on paper. The other 10% is not, because originally, because in the movie, in the first movie, Richie, the guy who's playing Richie, one of my best friends, he was originally supposed to play a bad guy, right? But he's actually playing Richie, my best friend, and I decided to make Richie black instead of white from the source material, which kind of caused a lot of controversy. If you go through my comment section of my movie, you see a lot of comments of people saying, "Oh, you should have made Richie white. Why doesn't Static have dreads? Yada, yada, yada." And I'm like, okay, I can understand where you're coming from. But anyway, getting back to my story. So I write the script, and I have I had 3 of my friends who are majoring in theater hit me up. They were like, yo, I know you said that you were planning on doing this movie. I would love to be a part of it. One of them was one of my homegirls. Her name is Sherry Rendell. She plays Daisy in the movie. And like we had been friends for like a couple of years before I had put her in the movie, so I had already knew who she was. And she was like, yo, I would love to be a part of it. Just give me the script. I can work with you on it. And I said, okay, cool. Then another homegirl of mine, Kaylee Stedman, she wanted to play Frida. Well, she wanted to be a part of it. And I said, okay, I'll give you the role of Frida. Now, originally, when I originally wrote the script, I didn't want to include Frida. I felt like that would be more of a second movie kind of thing. But given the fact that I was like, okay, I'm just going to go all out and do the best that I can with what I can, fine. I'm going to write her in. So I wrote her in, and this one guy, one of my good friends, his name is Alex, same name as mine, and he was going to play Richie. And I sent him the script. We got everything worked out. The only thing was that we couldn't connect on shooting times. So I instantly made my best friend, one of my best friends, John Bailey, as Richie, and then I made his roommate the first thug I fight. And the last villain of the movie, who's played by Nashawn Bennett, who plays Wade, one of the characters in the actual TV show. Wade was supposed to be played by two other people who kind of canceled on me because of, again, scheduling and time conflicts. So that was kind of like a last-minute thing with him. So once I got all my cast together, script was done, I needed to shoot the movie. So I knew I had the computer, and I knew I can go to my school to do the special effects work, but I didn't have the camera. So what's so funny about Static Shock, the movie, is the fact that I recorded that whole movie on my iPhone. So Static Shock...
I want to say something about that right there, because a lot of people look at my content, and to be honest, this interview that we're doing right now is going to be made on Windows Movie Maker. But the majority of my content is made from my cell phone.
Right.
With the app that I have, and I did a tutorial of the app, and it's got like over 10,000 views. And when you search tutorial on Google for the app, you find my video up top. And just like you were starting out with Windows Movie Maker, I was playing around with Windows Movie Maker. I graduated high school in 2009. So I was playing around with Windows Movie Maker back then, and I would make little small videos, slideshows, presentations for class. When I got serious with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, we've been married 6 years, I would make her little Valentine's video. I made her weep for Valentine's one day off a video made on Windows Movie Maker, because it's just that pivotal of a program. I would get a new laptop and go and download Windows Movie Maker. I'll scour the internet until I found a legitimate copy to download to my laptop, just because of how poignant Windows Movie Maker is. But yeah, the whole cell phone thing, people don't understand that there's so much you can do. Like I said, majority of my videos are recorded on my cell phone. Even when I go to conventions, my videos are recorded from my cell phone on my camera tripod. So, but go ahead. I just had to say something there.
Oh, you're fine. I don't mean. I'm not being too long and drawn out on mine. I just want to make sure.
Oh no, man, you're good. This is your interview, man. We're here. The one-on-one series is here to inspire and incite people, because the very things that you're saying, there's somebody out there that's listening to this right now that's like, well, dang, all I have is an old laptop, and I'm in the 11th grade, and the only program I have is Windows Movie Maker, so I can do something. So go ahead, man. That's what this is for.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. But yeah, so like, my first film was shot on my iPhone. At the time, I had an iPhone 6. And you know what's funny? Oh, let me backtrack a little bit. So the part where I say I posted a picture of the whole guy cosplaying a Static, and on like a little movie poster saying, "Hey guys, would you like me, if I were to make this movie, would y'all watch it or whatever?" On my iPhone 6, I had an iPhone 6, and I downloaded iMovie. I paid like $4 for it, right? Mind you, my iPhone was the only Apple product that I've ever owned. I had an iPod Touch, but I mean, again, my iPhone was legitimately the only Apple product that I've ever owned. So it was like $4 or $5. I downloaded it, and so what I did was I started learning how to do iMovie through the iMovie app. Now I have a MacBook now, so I know the app of iMovie and the actual program are they're somewhat similar, but they're also very different in things that you can do. But when I was starting playing with the app, I started doing slideshows. But the funny thing about the app was that there's a section on there where you can do where iMovie has made a section where you can create your own iMovie trailers. So and this trailer is on my YouTube channel now. You guys can go check it out. But there's this on my YouTube channel. There's this thing called Static Shock Concept Trailer, right? That's basically pictures of Static of the Young Justice version of Static in different scenes, and it's literally cut in a trailer form that iMovie basically did for me. So the cool thing about it was like that's what really inspired me. Well, that's what really gave me more inspiration to do the project, because I was like, yo, I can use my phone, I can use my computer, and I can use my college as resources. At this point, I don't have any excuses why I cannot do this movie. So again, I have my computer, which I only had Windows Movie Maker. I had my iPhone, and I had iMovie on my iPhone, and I had the Skylab at my school. So during the time when I was shooting the film, like I bought a selfie stick for my phone, and I had a tripod that I had for one of my old broken cameras that no longer works. So I connected the two, and I started using those to shoot the scenes of the film. And now if you watch the film from beginning to end, you could definitely tell it was shot on an iPhone. But the cool thing about it is that the movie making that movie humbled me enough to say the products that I have now made me be a little bit more creative versus me complaining about the stuff that I didn't have. So I would always say, like, you know, I've been on YouTube for maybe, like, at the time I was on YouTube for like 4 or 5 years. I got 1,500 subscribers, but, you know, I still don't have a MacBook. I still don't have a super duper camera. I don't have lights, none of that. Like, I don't have any of that. All I have is this one Windows computer that costs maybe $300, an iPhone that just comes with my plan, and that's it. You know, and then I have my school. So the cool thing about it is that as I'm doing the project took me literally a year to make. Like the first film took me a year to make, only because of more so of scheduling with my actors and scheduling, and also making time to actually go to the Skylab after class and editing the project. And keep in mind, when I was learning about Adobe After Effects, it was so new to me that it literally took me maybe 6 hours to finish a 10-second scene. So, like, there's a scene in the movie, in the first film, where I'm fighting this rogue bad guy, right? And there's a scene where I power up as Static. That scene where I'm powering up literally took me about 6 hours to do, because I didn't really fully understand the concept of Adobe After Effects. So I'm like, okay, if I want to be for real about this, I have to study the craft. So I'm like, I come home. I'm talking to my wife. I'm telling her, hey, you know, babe, I'm really serious about doing this movie. I'm going to be studying. Like there'd be certain parts of the night where my wife would go to sleep, and I would come into the living room just to watch tutorial videos of Adobe After Effects, how to make lightning look somewhat real, how to make energy balls, that kind of thing. And I literally spent hours and hours and hours to learn the craft. And it was very humbling for me. So next time that I would do another short film or or something else that involved me helping other people, I would know what I'm doing. So originally the first film was supposed to come out like in August 2016. But again, with scheduling and everything, I couldn't get it out. So around October, I dropped the second trailer for that film, and then I make another video on my Facebook, and I say, hey, the film will be coming out at the end of October. And I had everything lined up where it was supposed to come out, but it didn't come out because, again, I had to shoot one last scene. And I thought I would in the time frame that I had, but I didn't. So by the time December rolls around, I had finally shot my last scene. So mind you, I had shot this movie from I started this movie from February all the way up to December. So it wasn't necessarily a whole year, but it was almost a year. And it came out on December 10th, but before it came out, I posted this long drawn-out post thanking all of my cast and crew, thank you for all of my Facebook friends and family members who are supporting me through this, who know I have a love for the craft. So this is just me, I love God, I believe in God, and I believe God has a purpose for my life. So I'm thinking the whole time, yo, this movie's going to be trash. People are going to hate it. People are going to say that it's very amateur-like. It's not serious, which I expected. I was preparing myself for that because anytime you make anything in art, whether it's film, videos, drawing, whatever, you have to be open to the criticism. So I was preparing myself for that. So 2 days before my first movie dropped, I do a movie release party with all of the cast, all of my friends and family. We had about maybe 10 people show up at my house because it was the movie release party came out on such an odd day where everybody was working, so I couldn't get everybody there. But the people I got there who were part of the cast and also people who were just coming as spectators, the first thing I say before I start this film, I say, hey, guys, I love y'all, but I want y'all to be strictly honest with me about everything that you're seeing. And I don't want you to hold nothing back, right? So we do the party. We watch the film. The film's about 30 minutes. And once the film ends, I'm like, hey, guys, what do you guys think? So some of my castmates were like, honestly, Alex, you did a really good job. I think that there are certain parts that you could have done better in terms of telling the story and how I edited it. But overall, I did a good job, especially my first time learning how to do Adobe After Effects. And there were some people who said, there were some story plots that kind of fell off for them. Like they couldn't understand. They couldn't believe the validity of me being static because they know me. Like they couldn't believe me acting as a different character because they know how I am as a person. So it was overall what I took from it was that there are things that I could grow by making my next project, and there were things that I could there are things that I won't have to do now if I pursue making a sequel or making a whole completely different project from the first movie. So December 10th comes, I drop the movie. Within literally the first 5 days, 500 views. Literally within the first 5 days. Mind you, and I shared it on Facebook. I shared it on my Twitter. And I wasn't really big on Instagram like I am now. Like on Instagram, I've been using my Instagram a whole lot more in 2018 than I have the whole time I've ever had an Instagram. And I shared it on my Instagram, and I can tell you, I didn't do enough marketing, in my opinion, to get the traction that it did in the first 5 days. So I was like, okay, let me wait another week. Another week rolls by, 1,500 views. I'm like, okay, and I'm looking at the responses of the people who are commenting, people that I've never met, people that I don't know. And they're saying, great job. They're giving me constructive criticism. There are people obviously there who are being idiots as well, but there are people who are giving me constructive criticisms, what I could do better, how I could step up my acting game. I have more likes on that film than I do dislikes. And so I want to say, once I waited another week and it dropped about 1,500 views, I make a video of what are my next projects to come. And because I had got a lot of people tweeting at me like, yo, I enjoyed your film. Is there going to be a Static Shock 2? Are you going to do other short parts? Like, what is to come from your channel? This is the first time I've seen your YouTube channel. I want to know what you plan to do with your content. I had like 4 or 5 people hitting me up. So I drop a video and I say, I'm like, hey, my name is Alex, yada, yada, yada. This is what's going to be upcoming for my next project. But before I go into what I'm about to drop later on in life, I say, thank you guys for your love and support for Static Shock. I'm really appreciative of what your guys are saying online and things that I've been asked, the things I've been tweeting, and I'm really appreciative of all the stuff that you guys have given me, whether it's good or bad. So I then say, okay, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me, will I be doing a Static Shock 2? Now, me personally, before I tell you what I'm about to say, me personally, I've always been that type of person to do different things. I've never been the type of person to continue a story. So I've always wanted to do I wanted to do maybe one Static Shock movie and then something else completely. Never revisit it for some reason. But the response that I got, I was like, I got to do another one, at least plan to do another one, right? So the response I say in the video, I say, well, I am developing concepts to do a Static Shock 2 of some kind. But the determining factor of me doing a Static Shock 2, determining factor of me doing a Static Shock 2 has to be dependent upon how well the first movie does within the first 6 months to a year. Bro, 6 months go by, my film hits 10,000 views. 6 months. And I make another video. Once I realized that, I was like, whoa. So I make a video and I say, my film, Static Shock, the movie, has gotten 10,000 views. I am so humbled by this experience. Trust and believe that Static Shock 2 is coming out. And at the time when I made this video, I was making my second short film, Ultimate Spider-Man, which is now Miles Morales' new kid. So I put out that video and I say, thank you guys. I'm definitely developing a script. I'm definitely getting my thoughts together. I want to take my time of how I'm going to do this film. So, but let me backtrack a little bit. So after I put out that first video about what I was going to do future-wise, depending on how the film does, I was developing a Miles Morales movie. And this movie actually was very short. It's very short for me to write and shoot and get out on my channel. So I'm developing the movie, and at the time I had took a screenwriting class at my school, which showed me properly how to write an effective movie script. So, which is actually written in Hollywood today, like where you could read the same scripts that I'm writing now are the same scripts people write in movies, TV, different screenplays, like the formatting is the same exact way. So I learned how to do that from that class, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take what I've learned and apply it to my next short film. So I started looking at different short films about Miles Morales on YouTube, and there was like a few here and there. Nothing really stood out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put something together. I'm going to find me an authentic Miles Morales costume that actually looks like Miles Morales is a Spider-Man, and tell a story about Miles and his uncle, because Miles and his uncle according to the comics, are somewhat close compared to him and his family. So, again, with this movie, I shot it on my iPhone, same iPhone. I shot this movie on my iPhone, and I edited it through Windows Movie Maker. And keep in mind, I had learned how to do more theater effects, but I didn't have the tools to do that. So at the time when I was shooting Miles Morales, the new kid, or at the time it was called Ultimate Spider-Man, the Miles Morales story, my Skylab privileges were very limited because they started changing their format of what I can go up there and do. So there were certain things that I could do for this project, and there are certain things that I couldn't do. So the movie literally took me about 3 months to make. It's a small cast, very small cast. The movie is about 20 minutes, and when it came out, when I put it out, within the first day, my film, my Ultimate Spider-Man, made 800 views. But I noticed something. After the end of 1 month, it stayed at 900 views. And I noticed after the months went by, it was slowly climbing. And I said, okay, what do I need to do to retool this? So I let it sit on my channel for about 4 months. It made maybe 1,200 views over a 4-month period. I was not really too happy about how I put it together, and I felt like I rushed it and I didn't really take my time with it like I did with Static. So I take it off my channel. I put out like a statement on my Facebook saying, I took Ultimate Spider-Man down on my channel. I'm going to definitely re-release it at some point and retool it. Thank you guys for your love and support, yada, yada, yada. So in 2018, not in 2018, in 2017, I'm developing Static Shock Uprising. But at the same time, I didn't know what I was going to call it. The working title at the time was just Static Shock 2. So I knew who I wanted to be in the film, essentially the returning cast. But I also wanted to tell this story from a different perspective versus Static's perspective. So if you notice in the trailers that I put out for this film, Shanice, who's played by Yanisa Montour, she's basically the main focus of this film than Static is. So, like, it's more so about her than it is about me as Static. So as I'm writing the script, I keep thinking about the episode of Static Shock where Shanice, I don't know if you remember the character Shebang, if you ever watched the show. This character on Static Shock, her name was Shebang, and she wasn't a bang baby. She was a person who was created by her own family. Like, her family basically grew her out of a test tube and gave her different forms of DNA, and how she had an awesome relationship with her family, but the people who wanted to use her as a weapon wanted to just use her as a weapon and basically rule Dakota and rule different cities with her because they knew the abilities that she could do. And I took that concept and I was like, okay, let me flip this. Let me make her dad an evil person that helped create Shanice. We have her dad take out her mom, and he's trying to control Shanice as a weapon and make money off of her and be the ultimate dude in charge, right? So during the time as I'm developing these concepts and ideas, I'm constantly typing on my phone. Mind you, I still have the same computer, still have the same program, still have the same everything, right? So Static Shock Uprising took me about a year to make as well. And I said, okay, before I write the script, because all I have is a rough draft, let me finish what I started with my Ultimate Spider-Man project. So I want to say about later 2017 is when I first got my Canon T6i. And then I got my MacBook. I got my MacBook and my Canon T6i all within the same time frame. And I'm not when you've been on PC for so long, learning a MacBook is a whole new monster. Like, I've only had my MacBook for maybe almost 2 years, and I'm still learning how to use it. It's crazy to me. Like, it's literally like apples and oranges. So I thought that when I got my MacBook, it would be learning how to use a bigger version of an iPhone. I was so completely wrong. So I noticed that if I'm going to put out a new title for my Ultimate Spider-Man film, which is now called Miles Morales, The New Kid, if I'm going to put it out, I need to title it differently. I need to recut it and retool it, and I need to remaster it. So when I got my MacBook, I spent literally about 3 months learning how to use iMovie and Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects, because the MacBook I bought came with those programs. So I'm learning. I'm watching these tutorials. I'm taking notes. I'm practicing. I'm doing what I need to do, right? I finally cut it, retool it, remaster it. I put it on my channel. I put it on my channel, and I re-release it on my before I put it on my channel, I make this post on my Instagram saying, hey, I'm re-releasing my second film, Miles Morales, The New Kid. Check out the new trailer I just cut for it, and check out the new trailer I cut for it, and the movie will be out by the end of the month. So I put out the trailer for the film. The trailer does literally over 200 views within a day, and then it grows from that point on. And then at one point it stopped, because I only put out one trailer for that film. And then I put out the movie, and to this day, the movie has 4,500 views. Or no, I think it's 4,300 views. And it's only been out for 4 months. And all I kept thinking to myself is that if I had took the same amount of time that I did with Static and applied that effort with Miles Morales, when I originally released it, it would have done bigger numbers. So now the movie that I have on there now is doing better numbers than it did before. It's still, like, people are still watching it. People are still commenting it. I still get tweets about it, and it's doing really well. So I was like, okay, I've noticed that if I take my time with these projects and really learn the craft, my movies are going to prosper. Regardless of what kind of fan base I have, my movies are going to prosper because people recognize quality. So I re-released Miles Morales, and people are liking it. Like I said, it's been on my channel for about 4 months, and it has literally over 4,000 views. So I started developing the script for Static Shock Uprising. Again, it's more so about Shanice than it is Static. If anything, Static is more of a supporting character in this movie than he is the main character. But when you watch the full film, you'll see where Static is left at the end of the movie. But anyway, so I developed the script. I get all of my cast, like everybody that I wanted cast for this movie essentially got cast. The only thing is that I had to replace Frida. Like, there's one of my friends, her name is Wisdom Dixon. She's playing the role of Frida. And originally, she was not playing Frida in my previous film. So I basically had to recast the role of Frida because the original person I had playing Frida basically moved. So I was just like, okay, well, let me just recast. So I had her play that, and she was awesome to work with. And I get all my cast together. And, dude, it's funny. I met this guy. His name is Holden Hartman. He helped me produce the film as well.
I hate that guy.
Really?
I hate him. He's horrible. I'm just playing. Shout out to a man, Holden Hartman. He's helped me a lot with my channel and what we do here at Fans Anonymous. We collaborate a lot. We go to a lot of conventions together up and down the Southeast area. But, yeah, that's my dude. That's my guy.
yeah, that's my guy. I love that. I love that guy. So he reached out to me right when I re-released Miles Morales. He was like, yo, I've seen your first film, and I've seen Miles Morales, and I've always wanted to make a Static Shock film. I'll love to help you out on your project. and he kind of knew that I was going to do a Static Shock sequel because I mentioned it in one of my other videos. So I got his information, he got mine, and we linked up, and he was like, yo, like, I like the script. Let me know when you're ready to shoot this film. I said, okay, cool. So once I got all my cast together, we literally, with me and Holt, let me backtrack a little bit. I had originally started shooting this film almost to the beginning of 2018, so right towards the end of 2017. So there's a scene where I'm fighting these bad guys. I had shot that in 2017, but it wasn't until really towards the end of 2018 when I finished shooting the film, because that's when I linked up with Holden, and Holden literally helped me record other scenes of the film. So we literally, because the girl who plays Shanice, she was getting ready to move to Atlanta. So I was like, okay, I need to shoot all her scenes first before I do anything else. So and the cool thing about this movie, essentially, all of my scenes were with her. So that was just basically an easy win for me. And I shot all the scenes literally within 4 days. Right,
cool.
In 4 days. So I shot it in 4 days, and then I post on my Instagram, hey, I just finished shooting my film, Static Shock Uprising. It's completely done. It's now in post-production. And here I am now editing. Originally, it was supposed to come out the 21st of September. But again, with the whole thing of being patient, I wanted to retool it, edit it, and Holden helped me a lot with the special effects. And we finished it, and then I said I'll put it out November 1st, the beginning of that month. And that's kind of how that came together.
And that's an amazing day because that's my birthday, so that's going to be a little birthday present for me. But I got two questions for you. We're going to wrap it up here. My one question for you is, what would you say to that young kid or that older person? Because, a lot of people are getting into this type of stuff at different ages. What would be your advice to that person to get up and get started with wanting to do their films, just like you had to make up in your mind to get up and do?
So to keep this really quick, because I know we're wrapping up. What I would say is one, take what you have, whatever you have as far as technology-wise, and use it to the best of your ability. I put out this video about a few months ago about how to get started on YouTube. YouTube is so simple as just taking your phone, recording whatever you want to say. You can download a plethora of apps to edit your video, and you can put it out. And what I try to tell people is, if you want to do YouTube as a hobby, or if you want to do short films, what I would normally recommend is obviously study the craft. You can't, how can I put this? You cannot do anything in life, in my opinion, without studying the craft of what you love. So my thing is that if you know you love filmmaking, if you know you want to be on TV, or you know you want to do that, I would advise you to study what it's like writing a script. If you don't really know how to write a script, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying it's going to be kind of hard to do films or TV of that nature if you don't know how to write a script. If you don't know how to edit, again, Windows Movie Maker, in my opinion, is everybody's friend. It's easy to use, and it's a great place to start. Use that, but also look at other programs to elevate yourself. And also, man, get around people who encourage you, but not only that, get around people who are in the same field as you. So, and that's what I would say. And, again, this is me. I'm 25, going on 26, and I literally just got a MacBook. I just got a green screen. I just got all of the production things that a average production person would need for a YouTube channel at 25 when I started YouTube at 16. So it all comes with the territory once you learn how to grow. But, you know, like I say, use what you got. Like even what you said, Malcolm, you said you still use Windows Movie Maker, which is a pivotal program in my opinion. I think everybody on YouTube still uses Windows Movie Maker to an extent. So.
Next question, next and final question is, what do you think about the word consistency?
Ooh. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Consistency is very important, but I know that as human beings, we can be very lazy. So we don't, like, if we don't feel the need to do something right off the bat, we try to procrastinate. I see in a lot of young people we procrastinate, but here's the thing. Anything that you want to do, whether it's filmmaking or whatever the case may be, you have to have some form of consistency. I said this in one of my videos that, you know, I've been on YouTube for almost 7-8 years. I, as someone who's been on YouTube that long, don't even have 100 videos. That should tell you how consistent I am. So if I'm not that consistent, if I haven't been that consistent, then I as an individual have to probably step my game up if I've been on YouTube for that long. So, but I would say consistency is very important. Anybody who wants to do something, whether it's YouTube or anything else, you want to do it at least once a week. So what I've been trying to do is release a video a week or 2 videos a week to keep the momentum going. But in anything else, you know, consistency is very important. If you're not consistent in the thing that you love, in my opinion, it may not prosper. I won't say it won't prosper. It may not prosper because I don't know too many people. Like for instance, I don't like Kev. You notice with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is somebody I love. I love looking up to. Right? Dude is a straight up hustler every day. I hardly see this dude saying, okay, I'm just going to take – I notice when he says I'm going to take a year off from comedy, he's still doing other things that still pertain to comedy. It may not be a comedy special, but it'll be other things that pertain to that. So what I would say is, you know, nobody that's actually doing this for real is not taking the opportunity. I mean, no one – let me rephrase. No one who's doing this for real is not. There isn't a lack of consistency on their part. There's always consistency. You know, like Will Smith. You know, I don't know what the next movie he'll be in, but dude's YouTube channel is booming. It's booming, literally, and he's putting out videos every week. And he's Will Smith, and he doesn't have to, but yet he's being consistent. So I would say consistency is very important.
Wow, man, you've really dropped some nuggets on us today, and I'm so glad you got the opportunity to stop by and speak your mind and step up on your soapbox and let people get inside the mind of Alexander Hampton and Brand New Productions. Where can everybody find where you are and what you do on social media?
So you guys can follow my my YouTube channel called Brand New Productions. It's spelled the traditional way. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and look at all the different videos that I have. You can also find me on Instagram at Mr. Alex Hampton. I've been very vibrant on my Instagram. Like, I post a lot more on there than I do my other social medias. You can also find me on Twitter at Mr. Alex Hampton as well, and on my Facebook page called Brand New Productions as well. And I also have this, this is a slight little plug here as well. I also have a Patreon page called, it's literally www.patreon.com/brandnewproductions. I started that page to receive any form of donations to help build my content. It is not a mandatory thing. Regardless if I get 1 Patreon or 100,000 Patreons, I'm still going to do short films. I'm still going to invest in myself. I'm still going to put out quality content regardless if I have people donate or not. So that's not one of those things that I solely rely on. But if you want to be a supporter of mine of any kind, follow me on those various social medias. And if you want to donate to my cause, I would love that. I would really appreciate that as well.
Most definitely. You guys know who we are. We're FANDOMSANONYMOUS. We're all over social media. Right here on YouTube where you're watching this video. You can also check this video out on our Facebook page, Fandoms Anonymous, and join the Fandoms Anonymous group where we have discussions about all the top latest movies, and I get my chance to talk about DC and how they're messing up every single week about something else in their movie network. But get off that soapbox, and thank you, Alex, for stopping by and talking today. We'll see you guys, as always, in another video.
Check it, it's Phantoms Anonymous in the spot. Gonna let you know what's poppin', let you know what's hot about all the different cons, movies, and TV shows, Funko Pops, games, and more. Whoa, so here we go. From Marvel to DC, Transformers like Bumblebee, we got all your fandom needs. So sit back and relax and enjoy the views. Leave a like and subscribe, check in on Facebook to stay tuned.